What's up guys, this is Andrew with Ride Eat Wander, and today we're going to be talking about tire inserts, and more specifically we're going to be comparing the Cushcore Pro and the Rimpact Pro. I've had some quality time with both. I've ran them both front and rear, and I have a lot of feedback and some comparisons to show you the differences, similarities, and where I think one shines above the other, and maybe which one's going to be for you. So stick around and let's do some comparing. So first of all, let's talk about what tire inserts are. So basically, the tire inserts fit inside your tire between your rim and your tire, and basically it protects your rim from getting dings, also protects your tire from getting what's called a snake bite or a rim bite, where you compress your tire so much that it presses against the rim wall and it actually is able to puncture your sidewall of your tire, creating a leak. So these are supposed to protect from both of those scenarios and also provide a different ride quality feel, but we'll get to more on that later. So let's take a look at these two. So you have Cushcore, which kind of revolutionized the tire insert market. They were kind of the first ones to come out. They probably have the most engineered design that you're going to see. You have a very pronounced rim channel here where it really sits inside that rim and really keeps it from moving around. Also helps the sidewall support really make contact with the side of the tire, which is one of the benefits that Cushcore touts. Cushcore, on the other hand, looks a little less engineered. One thing that you're going to notice is there is actually a welding seam. I don't know if you can see that right there, where they've actually basically welded the two parts together. Now, I haven't had issues with that coming apart, and with the mileage that I've had, I don't really see it coming apart either, but it's something to consider just in terms of the construction. As far as the actual density goes, this is going to be a dual density foam, so you're going to have a stiffer bottom layer right here, well actually top layer, because actually you're going to make contact with this first, and then probably the 80% of the thickness is going to be a softer foam. It is kind of tapered or chamfered, but it doesn't have like a pronounced, I guess, rim channel where it actually sits. Actually, once this kind of stretches out from being inside your tire, it actually kind of floats around in there, kind of like a Huck Norris would. So I'm going to put both of these on a rim and kind of show you what they look like and kind of go over the characteristics of both. So the installation process of these is pretty straightforward. I would recommend you follow the instructions to a T. Cushcore actually will disclaim, please follow their instructions, not your own way. They've thought up the best way to install them, and I would definitely agree. I tried to think of ways, oh, this might be easier, but definitely just follow their instructions. These have stretched out a little bit, so you can actually get them on pretty easily. I would say Cushcore, the very first time, I probably spent at least an hour to an hour and a half per wheel. That was also with double down casings or with Maxxis. I would say the thicker the casing or the tougher the casing, the more difficult they're going to put on. You can see the instructional how-tos on their own respective websites. We're not going to go into much of that, but I would say the Rimpact, if we were going to grade between the two, is definitely easier to install. Right, so here I have the Rimpact. You can kind of see here to the side how it looks thickness-wise. Now, this is a 30.5 millimeter internal width rim. It's an Industry 9 Enduro 305, and I would say that the insert fits within the rim wall, although it's not quite a engineered fit, kind of like the Cushcore is, but it does fit in there nevertheless. It will kind of give you somewhat of that beadlock feeling. That is basically where the insert will apply pressure to the tire, pushing it up against the rim wall, preventing from burping. So now, I would say after having this on for a couple of months, when I did take it off to do a tire swap, I did notice that it got pretty stretched out. You could kind of free spin it pretty decently, and it kind of felt like it was floating around in there more than it was sitting nicely and tight. All right, so let's talk about the Cushcore. Probably the first thing you'll notice is that it has kind of a lower stack height to it, but I would say because of how the foam feels, it's kind of a single density foam, but it's going to be kind of in between the real stiffer side of the Rimpact and the softer foam of the underlayer. Width-wise, it is going to be quite a bit wider than the Rimpact as far as overall width. Again, you kind of have that rim lock channel in there, so it nestles in there really nicely. Another nice touch that you're going to notice with Cushcore is you have these sealant little kind of bleed areas, so that when you put sealant in here, it's going to be able to let it seep out into the actual tire and not get stuck between the insert and the rim. So kind of comparing the two, again, you'll notice that the Cushcore is going to be overall a little wider than the Rimpact. It's also going to have more of a flared out kind of hull type shape, where the Rimpact is going to be a little bit more straight up and down. So this isn't going to give you that feeling where Cushcore likes to say that they give you really good sidewall support. If you were to actually deflate a tire with Cushcore in, you'll actually notice that the Cushcore insert will actually kind of pushes the tire out and kind of more flat. And the Rimpact, when you deflate it, it kind of just looks like a normal deflated tire. So you can really see where the design sidewall support of the Cushcore really shines through. And you also notice too, when you inflate a tire with Cushcore in it and you kind of squeeze on the sidewalls at a low PSI, you can really feel that extra support. So you know that it's going to give you a little bit different ride characteristic over the Rimpact. All right, so let's go over some differences now between the two. Starting with price. Cushcore is going to run you about $150. Rimpact is going to run you about $80 to $90 depending on if you're getting it shipped to the United States or if you're going to be shipping to the UK. Cushcore is going to be based in the United States and the Rimpact is not. Now, who are these inserts for? I would say if you want an actual ride defining experience, I would pick the Cushcore. And what I mean by ride defining, I mean if you want added sidewall support, if you want protection from your bead coming from undone, maybe from a hard corner, I would go with the Cushcore. It is going to be a little bit heavier, and as we all know, rotational weight, added rotational weight is going to technically be a little less efficient, but when you hold these by hand, and honestly, I don't notice that it's going to be any much more taxing than your mind's going to tell you that it is. Now with the Rimpact, I would say you're going to get as good, if not maybe better, actual rim protection. So that means if you were going to bash up against a big square-edged hit, in my opinion, I think the Rimpact would actually protect you a little bit more. Again, you kind of have that dual density system. You have that really stiff top layer, and then you have that real pliable, soft underlayer. And I think it'll do an overall better job. Again, you're gonna get almost double the stack height with the Rimpact over the Cushcore. But that is where I think the benefits end with the Rimpact compared to the Cushcore. I don't think you're gonna get a real other ride defining feature like sidewall support. You may get that from like your first month or so, but once this starts to stretch out and kind of just floats around in there, you're not going to really get any of those bead locking qualities. You'll still get the impact protection, and again, if that is all you care about, maybe you think you can't feel the ride quality differences, I would go with the Rimpact. It is less expensive and it is definitely lighter. So if you are really conscious about weight, I would say go with this system. If you have any questions, guys, maybe some topics that I missed on this little comparison, definitely let me know in the comments. Again, I've spent a pretty good amount of time on both of these, and I have a pretty good feel for the two. So again, if there's anything that I missed and anything you're curious about, just let me know and I will get those answered right away. And thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you guys next time.